Well, I seem to be doing more pieces to camera these days than usual, but I thought maybe this is actually my time to tell my little story. And it's not big, it's not that important, but of course everyone's got a memory if they were around 50 years ago when the news broke about Summerland and the fire. So we had friends over from the UK, we were living in Ramsey, and like so many other people, we were thinking about going to Summerland that night, and whatever reasons, we changed our minds. Incredible. But watching the 9 o'clock news, I think it was, with Mr. Woods, I think he was about halfway through, and they suddenly said, we're just getting news of a big explosion being heard all over the Isle of Man. And of course we turned on the radio. Manx radio in those days pretty hard to get hold of on AM at that time of night, on quite low power, 232 meters. I think they must have put it back on, or 188, and it wasn't very clear what was going on. Anyway, really we went to bed, never thought more about it, because no one else was running the story particularly. The next morning, and I was 13 years old, 1973, people that came on holiday, and my family, the kids as such, we all got on the first tram out of Ramsey to see, go to Douglas and see what it was all about. And we got to the top of the hill, and that's when they just didn't know what to do with us, because it's the first tram, and it stopped, and there was a big, conflab what to do, and incredible by today's standards, because it wasn't all sort of sealed off. So basically, everyone on that tram got off, and we walked down the road, and actually past Summerland building, and there was that iconic, is that the right word, it's a memory that you can never forget of what looked like it may be a body actually in the metalwork. It was amazing, and it was still sort of still a bit of steam and smoke or whatever. As a young kid, we were just obviously kind of taking it all in a macabre way, I suppose, and it's just the way I would be at that age. But it's kind of amazing that we could walk straight past the place, even just so few hours after the event. And I suppose the other thing that always brings back to me is that no one ever talked about it. I mean, it was just like it never happened for years. No one talked about Summerland. And then of course Summerland 2 came along, and if you think about it, putting it on the same site, I don't think that would probably get through by today's standards for such an idea even to rebuild and then call it the same name. Anyway, here we are, all these years later, and of course, as time went on, more and more people have talked about it, and we have this sort of now strange situation. I kind of conflicted slightly, because we have the official event going on down there at Cane Garden, and it's all the sort of pomp and circumstance of mayors and the chief minister, that sort of thing. And then, of course, we have another group here actually on site. And over the last few years, I've tended to come down here because I think it's just more emotive, and people who you look out at 7 o'clock when everything falls silent, and you can just see that their memories are coming flooding back. I guess so. This is probably the last one I'm going to be covering as I wind down my TV channel, and it's kind of I suppose 50 years on, 50 people that died. It's just that incredible number that only has really come back into people's consciousness since Grenfell, of course, in London, that these sort of tragedies happen. Of course, they get more reported these days. There just was no real reporting of what went on here for some time before they could get films shipped out. Lines to the UK on the phone were limited. Terry Creedle told me the story that they got a line to The Guardian, I think Manchester, and they just held it open 24 hours a day. They didn't want to give up that line. And when you look back on the actual what is in footage and what was going on, there's so little that has been actually documented. But I must give a shout out to my friend Josh from ITV. He spent many months at ITV Granada putting together various interviews, and there's I understand a documentary in the works, which will be on ITVX and hopefully on the actual broadcast channels as well. So look out for that. And he's doing a live here somewhere at the moment. But anyway, that's my story. That's me talking to camera as I kind of wind down, and it's still just incredible, really, what went on here. And every time I come back, I mean, more people who tell me their stories. And I guess tonight, in an hour's time, this will be, for a lot of other people as well, probably their final time to remember and also to say their goodbyes.